Minggu di ini. Iya, 66.000 yang nonton. Ini nonton. Coba yang aku yang itu 60.000.
Rau đi chớ bạn chun clay chỉ muốn bật câu và xích lại bật câu và xích Mario câu và xíchលើកមកជើងនេះមកខ្សែការពារស្លាប់ខ្សែពីកដាបើគឺ Andre Christensen បាទ Christensen បាទតម្លាក់ខ្លីៗជាមួយនឹងជូរីញ៉ូបាទតាក់មកជើងឡើងមកខាងលើតែតមកក្បាលកាឡានីពីសំណាក់បាទ Romelu Lukaku ឥឡូវទស្សនាឱកាសវីបជិបតបាទទីម៉ូវេណតម្លាក់ឲ្យកាន់ទេបាទកាន់ទេបញ្ជូនខ្លីៗបាទជាមួយនឹងអាភីលីកូតាខូតាតម្លាក់ឲ្យជូរីញ៉ូបញ្ជូនជិបទៅឲ្យបាទអស្ទូបាទគឺ Matteo Kovacic ឥឡូវបាទទស្សនាឱកាសលើកបាល់បោលគ្រោះថ្នាក់ខ្លះនេះឱកាសទេគ្នាយើងគឺអត់បានទេរំខានដោយចេញបាទឃ្លៀមកជើងឡើងមកខាងលើក៏ជាប់ជើងចៅ Consolo បញ្ជូនខ្លីៗជាមួយនឹង Kevin De Bruyne បាទប្រូសុំមកលុក
Saya coba tonton ini buka supaya mancing ya.
បាទសួស្តីបាទពីកាន់អាណាផងបាទកៃ Harvard បាទ Wet You Baby បាទ
Risiko. Ayo bang. Di komen bang, tebak skor bang.
Oke, prima jing bah, admin sengkem
subscribe dulu bang yang baru hadir. Udah menit ke-39 ini.
Iya, pergi nak kerja ni.
Pergi nak kerja yang macam.
Alah baju tersana kah berikut cia bentar tit bani bacop cing.
Oh, bacop.
Lapor terlihat mak oi bah Bernardo Silva cấp mùi sấn Bernardo Silva. Bà tak mà chừng lang mau khá lứa oi chào Consolo, bà Consolo đọ tung lên ôm mình đến. Bà chào Consolo, bà cắt mông trên này ao cá cờ ba thì mới bà thay mà chừng. Ôi bà ớt châu tới Kevin De Bruyne. Bà nẹ trăm tí bà ý đuổi mình đi, bà lang mà chui tua man ôm mình đến.
Menit ke berapa kak? Luciana, Lensa.
Lihat bakal Stracho bah. Lược trang Strat từ vạch mà hộp này vô.
Menit ke 40 Mbak Luciana.
Pak admin bà khế bà sister.
Kau ada suaranya sah?
Bà lời bà sai stop nanti bà ban cả lọc phát tới khi dương mà. Xong sai tới bà. Admin cơ ba thế bà tông thì mũi nữa. Bà mấy tí bà tông để xin hao. Ngay na bà mấy tí bà nói xin đấy.
Coba ditranslate Kak Luciana. Bentar Kak. Kita belum pergi ke Thailand Kak ini.
Ini baluk pep dia lah bong han.
Bahasa Thailand ini.
Cái mình dám bạc
kan bahasa Inggris.
Alay bani bạc cứ bạc cái pina trăm tí Idut Mendy. Và Mendy plau mà chương lang mau khá lứa con.
Cái bahasa Inggris.
Chương Consolo bạc tay mà các ba. Chụp chương phụ đánh có bạc thái mấy cứ mình lo thế bảo phụ đánh. Bạc tụi em khang rong pi thia go si bám ở này trăm tí bài Idut Mendy. Mendy có bấm plau mà chương stam bạc lang mau khá lứa tay mà các ba chip top pi Bernardo Silva. Alay bạc Bernardo Silva lướt mau mà chương nào chết. Và chết tay tụi em khang rong ở lo thế bạc cứ đừng kham pi Apilicota lên chia vào to thế. Mình akan tak kami senang nak ni bah. Mesti bah mình akan sốt đo tới 6 dong ấy, tapi sốt ot mình senang. Nhưng vậy, kali cứ mình ton mình senang ấy.
Ngapa? Chelsea. Aku ni kan minta hijau.
Aku Malik
Malik ini tanya gitu mak.
Mana kata lu kabar ketemu?
Malik ini.
Selang undang-undang kapan? Haram telat kalau Malik gitu.
Ayo.
Engkau di mana? Oh ini yang aku pakai sen. Oh tuh bagaimana aku bayar no? Bayar tayo. Ini.
Tadi saya langsung kamu. Itu kata nonton ini. Lagi nyari. Awal lagi YouTube dia.
Facebook apa YouTube?
Facebook tadi.
Facebook kau.
Udah di Facebook kau betul. Tadi tekan nonton rupanya balik di YouTube, dibalikin.
Ke
Ke streaming.
streaming kau.
Bukan. Nah, streaming Facebook kan aku ngeliat yang denger suara gitu. Terbalik kayak ini ke YouTube.
Enak.
Nah, itu nah aku nonton tadi gitu nah, balik ke YouTube. Yang nomor pertama.
Oh ini ya yang YouTube.
Iya. Ada.
Biasanya di sini sih lihat semua ya. Biar lebih banyak.
Halo bang, ayo bang, buat
Pilih yang mana? Yang agak ngerti kau bang.
buat yang baru hadir bang.
Chả rú cắt mau một chút đi. Lock ban tay Rodiger. Tông thì phí bạn tông tại Chelsea si hơi. Và sẽ mũi tới admin ỏi thao. Và sẽ mũi băm đây mũi bà nhâm sẽ đọc mong. Ô sẽ đọc bắp đây đó bây giờ một này. System bà thì cắn sơ lắc. Và xâm stray mốt mà có Mason sấy mà có tạo emoji vậy. ឥឡូវបើយកទស្សនាឱកាសលើកបាច់ជ្រុងបាច់ជាបន្តលើកមកមិនឱកាសតែតមកក្បាក់បើរំខានដោយបើ entry Christiansen ឥឡូវអា Man U នោះក៏មិនស៊ីបើ Man City ក៏មិនស៊ីបើ AT នោះចាញ់គេ 1-0 ណាឆ្កុយបើ AT បាសេបើ style ជាមួយហ្មងឥឡូវបើលេងលក់សាហាវមែនទែនបើ AT បាសេណាបើលេងប៉ះក្រុមណាបើចាញ់ក្រុមហ្នឹងបើមិនចាញ់ក៏ស្មើដែរតែលក់បាសេនិង AT
Tanya lah, Lensa. Itu sudah, belum salah soal itu.
Click the link below and pin comment to watch live streaming game for free. What you wait for, just click the link and enjoy.
Hey. Click the link below and pinned comment to watch live.
Dosa apa sih?
Ada take down ini.
Angkat lo. Kan ada pihak Mola TV. Kalau cek itu tidak laku lagi Mola TV.
Halo kak, berlari kali kamu kak. Kemana ya kamu? Mana kembali gini?
Ini kan tag
Biasa.
doang ya. Nyari lagi Bang, dari sini Bang. Balik Bang.
Halo kak, kemana kamu kak? Chelsea. Hilang kali penonton langsung. Oh, kurang ajar kali kamu. Punya kesempatan lah kak. Alum lah kak.
Itu boy kok editnya petak Bang yang main tuh. Masih tidak kena copyright ya.
Este es el capitán del Chelsea, tocó para N'Golo Kanté, la marca es de Rodri,
Dime.
cayó Rodri, la pisa Kanté, sigue Kanté con el pase ahora para Werner, Werner y el centro, Bernardo que rechaza, la busca Kovacic, casi le da un patadón ahí, Kevin De Bruyne sacó justo su pie derecho, otra vez Mateo Kovacic, se anima sobre el final el Chelsea, el centro quedó corto, pero la vuelve a recuperar ahora con Jorginho, Owen. Engancha Cancelo, abre Cancelo, la busca Alonso, no podía, antes llegaba Gabriel Jesús, este Skywalker, la marca de Kovacic, pasó Walker, toca ahora para Bernardo, resuelve bien en la salida el conjunto de Guardiola, Rodri, pase por izquierda, atención que va Cancelo, se va moviendo Foden, la tiene Grealish que hacía mucho no la tocaba, viene Grealish, encara con el centro, muy pasado. Para Gabriel Jesús, señoras y señores, final de la primera etapa. Antes de que saliera la pelota, pitó el árbitro. Hacemos la pausa. Están empatando 0-0 el Chelsea y el Manchester City. Al término de los primeros 45 minutos. Pausa y regresamos con el entretiempo.
Kamu cek gitu lah.
Iya, cek kita nih, cek. Ayo, bu, kamu ini. Nah, aku marah juga ya sama.
Lagi menempat
Wah, habis ya pertama.
Permane nek katu mah. Enggak dungkan nih. Mau naik motor bae.
Yang bisa bertamu.
Roto-roto
Iya,
nak
bisa
turun.
pertama. Berotot-otot.
Ya, nak turun.
Ada tuh sana. Lihat dalam ini dulu. Nah. Lah, ngapa tekan tuh. Mandi dulu.
Nenek tadi pagi meki ya di Gojek. Sini aku nyoy. Anakku. Wow, ini. Kerja aku. Mau jemput mbak aku kan balik. No, mak lampir marah. Soalnya kan itu tuh kawan aku yang Gojek itu. Mak negor aja tak rumah lagi, udah gue nenek marah. Ada kelas 1. Sadar, sakit lagi.
Eva. Kau harusnya gantiku. Ya, di mana Pak itu?
Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. It's very much been a first 45 minutes of attack.
Gila, masih ramah. Bentar. Ya.
Mana maksud?
Mandi. Sampai kemarin.
Nah, aku kan mau baru.
Enggak. Apa dia? Dia nak masangin cak aku dong.
HP koneng.
Dan enggak ya. Tapi cewek nak masang. Oh.
Mau Mariska.
Baru begitu tuh telepon kau dong.
Ngapa ya?
Ajak aku ngomong sama Doyo. Ya.
Ngapa? Kakak itu nyemaknya itu.
Ya.
Bang. ya. Jam 9.
Untuk saat ini, Bapak Nadiem ingin fokus pada peningkatan kualitas pembelajaran, pengajaran.
Coba bayar hati atau nangis.
Iya, agak jelas dikit.
Tahu, kamu tahu.
Nih, teman gua itu kan segan tuh.
Ini orang mah. Iya, yang jalan itu malah martabak. Agak itu mau beli. Agak itu mau beli. Pesan kan berganti ya tuh. Mana ini di mana orang nak terbuat itu nih. Mana lu kan itu kemarang sih. Ayo, nanti. Di mana orang jalan nak kami terbuat itu nih. Apa naik taksi tujuannya kemana? Bukan, ngajak ni kemana naik taksi orang mana? Nah, dia belok kali kan, kita kan dulu. Aku ada lensa minta ngambilnya nih, awang itu tak tunjuk ini alamatnya yang tempat. Aku ini kalau dengan tu. Ah, kali gila. Buat aku.
Oh, jadi kalau omongan
Aku ini mau kalau di lensa.
buat.
Wang tuannya rumah yang nak diambil itulah tunjuknya, tapi tak ketik di Netflix alamat rumah itu nih. Kerupuk putih. Wow. Baru ada gawe. Ada ketik di rumah. Gitu aja aku nak kasih gue. Diterima ke dia ni dulu.
ada yang nonton dulu. Alhamdulillah syukur. Mana kamu nih?
Welcome Mixing Channel. Ayo, let's go choose Chelsea or Manchester City.
Kompor mana tuh lagi teranggi ini.
Ambil ya,
Kompor mana TV mana tuh katanya dia tapi tinggal kayak kan
Bukan, robot itu kan beda lagi kan dengan TV aja naik sama dia. Enggak, itu ngaku barang deh.
dulu Mak. Kita naik sini dulu. Gak mungkin bayar dengan satu.
Bukan mana ada kantor kan. Kamu berangkat.
benar makin dulu ke sana baru tinggal sini aja goboknya. Enggak ada
Kamu juga
mahal.
tidak mau gobok. Nah, itu kita mendobok tuh ngantar barang baik. Ada parahnya ada nama itu sendiri lah. Terus gobok di sini dulu, ada sekali yang dari sini. Ya, dari sini bilang. Nah, sekali. Gobok tuh ngantar barang baik.
Mau sini kerani empat bobot naik. Mau jalan.
Oh, bisa ya.
Sini nangis.
Oh, banyak hewan banyak.
Sini dulu aja.
Kamu banyak ya?
Ini nangis.
13. Tapi tahun kemudian 6.000.
Tahun.
Ah, lama ini.
Bisa jadi prosesnya dah. Ini di telepon.
Jangan berangkat misalnya. Ya, saya.
Dari galak nonton. Nonton.
Ayo bang, bilangin bang.
Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum. Iya, yuk tadi ada
Ayo bang, diramein bang. Diramein. Jangan lemah.
Kau ini benar di YouTube ini.
Di YouTube kan?
Langsung sekarang.
Apa ada apa?
Mulai.
Can't do it all on his own, Werner.
No, he tried though, didn't he? He's a good scampering player and particularly good in a formation like this where you're not going to get much ball because he's got a brilliant engine on him and he works ever so hard. But we see Grealish and Azpilicueta are having a bit of a mess about there. Yeah, something needs to change, doesn't it, for Chelsea? Like I said, first half, I think they miss Mount considerably. But for me, in a formation like this where they try to keep it tight and then spring, as they did in Champions League final, don't forget they had Kai Havertz playing that day and he played remarkably well. I thought he's more pivotal than Werner in the team when they won the Champions League. Anyway, he is an option on the bench.
They have got a deep squad, Chelsea. Much changed from the team that started against Aston Villa in midweek in the Carabao Cup, so they should be rested. Kante did start that game. He's just coming back from injury, and Thomas Tuchel felt it was a great opportunity for the France international to build up some minutes. City also made a fair few changes for their victory over Wickham, a thrashing of the League One club. Having fallen behind, they were able to battle their way back and go on and score 6 goals, with some of the youngsters performing fantastically well at the Etihad Stadium. Kante laying it back off to Christensen now. Ball forward, but no one there to get on the end of it. Lukaku and Werner were split by the pass. And City can have comfortable possession back once again on the halfway line. Now to Laporte. Finding Cancelo outside of the boot, ball sent forward hopefully towards Foden. Will come through to Cancelo after a little bit of a mess between the two clubs. And his attempted cross bounces off Thiago Silva and behind for the corner, much to the delight of the City fans, now based behind the goal that they're shooting towards in this second half. I'll be hoping that they can be close viewers to a goal in this second period. De Bruyne has come across to take the set piece. They had more than enough corners in the first half. Chelsea dealt with them all extremely well. This time it's taken short. De Bruyne across to Cancelo, who thinks about the shot, cuts onto the left, then does strike. Weak, and it's picked up by Jesus, who squeezes away the shot, and there is the opening goal. Manchester City have broken the rear guard of Chelsea. It was scrappy, but they're ahead.
Yeah, doesn't matter how scrappy it is. It's all about playing in the opposition's half and taking your chances. Chelsea have defended really well, but there comes a time when you're offering really good players time and space in the box. All that came from Cancelo's strike. It ended up at the feet of Jesus, who was able to turn, and maybe the last effort that came off Jorginho, we yet to see that, but it doesn't matter. And for Man City, they've just grabbed a goal. This game could end at 1-0, couldn't it? But they've been in much better shape, haven't they? And now that demands that Chelsea get players further forward and try and do something. But take another look at and see where the shot comes off. Did it just clip off the heels of Jorginho? I'm not sure. But I think City have been good value for that.
Yeah, they've been asking questions throughout the game, and sometimes you do just need that little bit of luck to get you going. And City, with a deflection off a defender, have seen the ball scramble past goalkeeper Edouard Mendy. He was flat-footed, rooted to the spot and unable to get down to try and keep it out.
Those City fans now do have a goal to celebrate early stages of the second half. What is that going to mean in terms of Thomas Tuchel's game plan from here on out? They can't afford to continue sitting back as they have done throughout 54 minutes we've had of play so far. He has got attacking options on the bench. We've mentioned several of them today. No Christian Pulisic available. Mason Mount is out of the squad as well. They've got Hakim Ziyech, they've got Loftus-Cheek, they've got Hudson-Odoi, they've got Havertz, all players who could have an impact in that final third. And see if Tuchel turns to one or two of them sooner rather than later. He's only got 2 changes left, forced into one in the first half, and he'll be wary of this game maybe getting away from them a little bit as De Bruyne comes forward, trying to find Grealish in the box, but Christensen gets a vital block in, and Chelsea forwards now with Werner across to Jorginho, head up looking for options, and he didn't really see much on. Eventually was forced into the pass and he was fouled as he played it, so it'll come back for the Chelsea free kick. But Manchester City, who have dominated possession in this game, will think at 1-0 up that this is theirs to lose now. Cross comes into the box. City head away with Bernardo as far as Kante. He loses out to Rodri on the edge of the box, and Cancelo will attempt to clear, but that's into touch. But it's all in City's hands now.
Yeah, just saw Bernardo chasing back there. Bernardo Silva, who's just been absolutely awesome today. I talked about scores to settle, and they've done it. But you know what? It's a long game, isn't it? We're 56 minutes in, and City have a 1-goal advantage. Great for them, but there's so much more work to do. Just don't expect Chelsea just to sit there and take it. We're seeing a reaction from them right now. Here's Rudiger, just the edge of the area. I think Tuchel's got to react as well and bring more attack-minded players on.
Alonso with a cross in, and Cancelo will head behind, and already that response is coming from the home side. It always baffles me really when you see a team sit back and defend so much until they concede a goal, then they decide to play and they start creating chances. You wonder why they didn't show a little bit more bravery and courage in their ability earlier on in the match, but here they are with the corner kick, just the second of the game, which indicates really just how little they have been forward. City have had 10. They scored, of course, from the one most recently. Corner comes in, it's scuffed away by De Bruyne at the near post. Kante by the halfway line will drop it back to Edouard Mendy. He pulls out wide right now. Kante to offer himself up for a return ball, but Mendy has spotted a potential route further down the field, and that's out to Azpilicueta on the right, headed down looking for Werner. City clear their lines, punted forwards towards Foden, who gets a lancing header on, and it's ended up in the face of Thiago Silva, but Foden is coming back from an offside position, so the free kick given to Chelsea. Now Kovacic, who wants to start driving with the ball. Nice pass to Werner, just too much on it, and it's through to Ederson.
Yeah, that was close, wasn't it? Really close, but yeah, obviously we're going to see a reaction. Chelsea are a top team, aren't they? Top team in Europe, seemingly, but today second best, and I think Tuchel's been brilliant for Chelsea. You know, when Frank Lampard was at the club last season, he was sort of like, oh well, we're not going to be anything this year, making excuses, and that doesn't wash, does it? You've got to go in there and hit the ground running. The first thing they did was, you know, stop conceding goals by beefing themselves up at the back, but now they've conceded, they need to do something more.
Grealish on the left, backing Azpilicueta up into the box, and does get the shot away. It glances beyond the far post. Azpilicueta couldn't get a toe in, and Mendy was concerned. Grealish wants the corner. Well, that was fine work from the ex-Villa man.
It was. Fingertips took that away. It might have come back off the post. I think he scraped it away with a fingertip there, and that's close to being number 2.
It's a fine save from the Senegal international. And to his left-hand side, and keeping Chelsea in this game as it stands. 58 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 1. De Bruyne with the out-swinging corner. Alonso will head clear at the near post. Grealish looking to retrieve the bouncing ball, and his pass down the line is blocked and intercepted by Kante, who then is able to pick it up and take it on further. Grealish on his toes, but Kante squeezes it out to Jorginho. Switch of play to the right-hand side for Azpilicueta. Lukaku demands it down the line and gets it. He's trying to get away from Cancelo and has burst into the box. Cross there is stopped by Diaz, and it'll come out as far as Azpilicueta. Chelsea now starting to ask one or two questions, and we see what City have got in terms of resolve at the back. Silva on the left with Rudiger now. He's having an eye up at the target and decides instead to cross into the area. Lukaku can't get there, and City will attempt to break. The game is opening up. This is the match that we wanted to see. De Bruyne carries on forward, but Silva holds him up. Foden is surely offside. The flag has stayed down. He'll look to go around Mendy, who actually makes the save, and now the flag goes up. Still don't get why that flag doesn't go up straight away. It was clear as anything.
Yeah, I think for me it's better that he keeps his flag down and let play go on, and then we'll work it all out under VAR. He doesn't know who that ball comes off, does he? And in the end, if it's one of those, a ricochet, but at the end of the day, the right thing happened there. Foden, again, he's a great player, isn't he? But he's just running ahead of play there. Maybe he should have got the ball out a little bit sooner. Anyway, we're going to see Kai Havertz come on now, and let's hope he's for one of those three holding midfielders. I'd be bringing him on maybe for Kante today.
Yeah, it looks as though it's Kante who's heading off. He's only just back in the side of late, and I think maybe fitness is still something he's trying to build up. So his afternoon is done, and it's going to be Havertz who comes on. The way Chelsea have lined up most of the time this season has been a three at the back, with those two wing backs offering a bit of width. Then they've had the two central midfielders, which should now be Jorginho and Kovacic, and I think Werner and Havertz will play just in behind Lukaku. They'll be flanking the striker, and it looks as though that's how they're setting up now. Werner on the right, Havertz on the left, and Lukaku through the middle, so they'll have a little bit more presence in the final third, and they'll be looking to try and get some supply to them.
Yeah, I think that's a decent formation, isn't it? 4-2-3-1 really, but it allows you four attackers, and don't forget they're hard workers anyway. Havertz is a proper marathon runner. Then you've got Werner, who is virtually non-stop. There's plenty enough legs in that as well to defend, and then you've got the wing backs getting forward, although Alonso is shoved off the ball there, and here comes City again.
Grealish, and it's taken on further by Cancelo, who was right on his shoulder. Crossing, hands there from Edouard Mendy, cleared off the line from Silva. Jesus almost getting his second and putting City clear in this game. Well, they were stretched, were Chelsea, but they managed to cling on by their fingertips, and City denied.
Well, one or two things to say there. One brilliant play by Man City to fashion that. You know, while Chelsea are sorting themselves down this new formation, great from Grealish and Cancelo. But then also Thiago Silva, I mean, he just knows where to be there, doesn't he? And he's blocking that one off the line, which probably should be number 2, shouldn't it? But you've got to credit the Brazilian. Right place at the right time.
3 shots on target now, City. They hadn't registered one in the opening 45, and that just shows that they come out with a renewed vigour in this second period and really started to cause a few more problems. We're going to have a stoppage in play here as Gabriel Jesus has gone down and looks to have an issue with possibly his collarbone there, or maybe his shoulder. He's involved in a tangle with Rudiger, who won the ball cleanly but then couldn't prevent himself from following through on the slide. His leg did come up slightly, and might suggest that there was some intent there in catching Jesus, but he just landed awkwardly, the Brazilian. But we look back at that chance for City a moment ago. It's a great teasing ball in from Cancelo, looking for Foden. Mendy initially got the fingertips to it, and as it fell out to that right hand side with Jesus, it was blocked off the line. Now Havertz into the box, trying to find Lukaku, and City have conceded, although it won't count as the flag. No, the flag appears to have stayed down here.
I think it's gone up. It went up, down and up again. But let's take a look and just see, is it Kai Havertz? He bent his run initially, but then he's way off. I mean, 5 yards. Talk about flag there. And he probably knows it at that point. And in the end, they've taken it nicely, but the fans should probably have known. And certainly the assistant referee did, but he's not even a close run thing, that. He's 5 yards off.
Chelsea thought they were back on terms, but celebration non-existent from Lukaku, and Havertz, as you say, probably knew that the flag was on its way up. Around Stamford Bridge were on their feet. I think we are going to have a real fine finish to this game now. Just under half an hour left to play out, and it is Chelsea 0, Manchester City 1. It's goalless, by the way, in the other Premier League game, the early kick-off between Manchester United and Aston Villa. And we have got a goal in the Championship game. You can also hear on this service Reading lead at Middlesbrough by 1-0. Cal Walker is trying to use his pace to get away from Thiago Silva here, but it's great work from the Brazilian to read the game and bring the ball down under his control. On the left-hand side with Alonso. Back centrally for Kovacic, who's been keeping Chelsea ticking over in most games this season. He's put in several man-of-the-match displays, and they're going to need one from him late on here. Lukaku now dragged down on the edge of the box. Free kick in a really good spot, and the first yellow card of the match will come out. That's Aymeric Laporte.
Yeah, just again, done the same thing with Lukaku. He gets in too deep and just thinks that his size will be enough to stop Lukaku rolling him, and he can't do that. He just ends up wrestling him to the ground, and it is a free kick and it is a yellow card. Second time he's done that.
There's a few candidates for this set piece. I would imagine that Marcos Alonso will be one of them. It's wide right-hand side of goal, and certainly suits the left-footed option. It's so far wide that I don't think a right footer would really be able to cause too many issues, and actually everyone else has stepped away from it. It is just Alonso over the top of the ball. The wall has been marched back around about 5 or 6 yards inside the box. It's currently a 4-man wall with Rodri in there alongside Diaz, De Bruyne, and quite see the other behind Michael Oliver, but it's Jack Grealish who has actually been told now to step away from the wall. He's formed a secondary wall alongside a few Chelsea players just in behind. We'll see what Alonso can do here. There's pushing and shoving going on at the far post, as if any of that will really matter. Alonso is surely going to strike this at the target, and he does. It's into the wall and behind for a corner.
Yeah, it wasn't a good hit, that was it? Straight into the middle of the wall, really, which did its job. It's a corner kick, though, and an opportunity for Chelsea. They have got plenty of targets to try and hit.
The in-swinger from Alonso, who, despite that last effort from the free kick, is normally pretty decent with delivery from set pieces. Lots of targets to aim for. It comes off a City head. Cleared as far as Azpilicueta. Kovacic will promote it back out to Alonso, who had put himself back on side, right-footed. He can't get that cross away. Tried to do it all a little bit too hurriedly there. I think Thiago Silva's trying to claim that he was fouled as he made his way into the box. Michael Oliver doesn't seem too interested.
Yeah, they never really bothered with a ball that was never going to get to him in a million years. I think Alonso probably was offside, and then who cares after what happened to Thiago? Maybe somebody did run into him. But it looks to me he's being clever. He's running into the back of Ruben Diaz, who is just looking after the ball. There's no way, even if nothing else was wrong about that he was going to get that as a penalty.
Throw for Manchester City now on the halfway line. Cancelo, the man with the ball in his hand. You wonder if Pep Guardiola is going to turn to his bench to make a change and tweak things in these closing stages. City performing well at the moment, though, with Grealish down the left. Into the box he'll go. Cross goes beyond Foden. Jesus retrieves it far side. Back across goal. Christensen can turn it away as far as De Bruyne, who will strike left-footed. And the ex-Chelsea man wins his side a corner.
How they've not got two now, I don't know. I mean, that all breaks nicely, doesn't it? Brilliant work, De Bruyne in the middle, and this time Thiago Silva's in the wrong place. The ball across the box from Grealish wasn't the best, was it? The outstep of his right boot. But Chelsea failed to clear until eventually De Bruyne's shot was blocked for a corner.
Foden strolls across to the far side of the field. England international raises the signal and indicates to his teammates in the middle the type of delivery to expect this time around. It's a high hanging one to the far post, cushioned back across goal by Diaz, but Chelsea clear, and Kovacic then beats De Bruyne. He's breaking away. Havertz is busting a gut to get round the back, but the ball was weak, and Walker is there on the cover to deal. Should have made better of that counter-attack, Chelsea.
It was a disappointing ball in the end, wasn't it? I mean, look at the pace they're running out at. Transition from Chelsea is brilliant, isn't it? With Werner, with Havertz, there's so much pace about them. And Kovacic's playing really well, isn't he? But, there's still a goal behind. There's still a lot of work to do for the Blues.
Kovacic has come on so much since he first joined Chelsea initially on loan from Inter Milan and eventually winning that permanent move. He's become a more integral figure in that area, can break the lines and cause problems in the final third, as well as offering great energy in the deeper areas too. Here he is trying to pick out a pass. It was blocked. He'll come back to him, and this time he finds Alonso. He swings one in looking for Lukaku. It's headed up by Diaz, and then out comes Ederson over the top of the Belgian. Claims it really well. He's picked up a bit of a knock for his troubles in the process, and Guardiola is now looking frustrated on the touchline, whether that's at his own players for giving away the ball or the officials potentially for a decision that he feels should have gone their way. I'm not too sure, but he's looking like a manager on the wrong end of the 1-0 result here, rather than seeing his side leading away from home.
Well, Rudiger upends his man, doesn't he, Jesus, in the wars. If you thought that Gabriel Jesus wanted to play as an inside right rather than centre forward because he probably didn't want the attention of centre backs, well, he's playing on the wrong day and against the wrong man, isn't he? Rudiger's so strong and vigorous there, and he brings him down, but he didn't get anything for it. But typically, Man City win the ball back. If they do win this game, I mean, so far, what, we're 70 minutes in, I think that they will have thoroughly deserved it. They've bossed the game. They're in their home strips today, Man City, and they look like their home team.
Been in control from the outset, despite conceding a few more chances after going ahead. They still look very confident and composed at Stamford Bridge today. We are midway through this second half then. I'll hand over to John in just a second as Lukaku plays in Kovacic here. Might be able to get the shots away. It's blocked behind for the corner. Chelsea edging ever closer as this game advances, and it remains Chelsea 0, Manchester City 1. John will take you to the whistle.
Kovacic's a completely different player, isn't he, than maybe it's about a year ago. Scampering the water carrier, wasn't he? And now he's an all-action midfielder. He's dead unlucky there, but it was good defending by Ruben Diaz, and yet again Lukaku has Aymeric Laporte on toast. It's a corner kick. Shame Alonso can't get in there to get on the end of his own ball, and that is headed away by Rodri and then booted straight back to Mendy. 71 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Man City 1. It's been a pretty good game, particularly second half, I think, when we started to get a few more meaningful actions, really, and goals make games, don't they? So, for the neutral, we wanted to see a goal, and here a good ball over the top, looking for Werner. Ederson, he's going to pick it up before it rolls out. I think there's a big problem, really, for me, is the mindset when you set yourself up hard to beat, and then you concede a goal. It's like a whole sea change then to get things back rolling. They probably felt earlier this season, didn't they, when they were down to 10 men at Anfield, we can do anything. But you're up against the bigger teams, and I think they needed just to have a bit more ambition today. Bernardo, he's had a really good game. And for me, he'd be a strong candidate man of the match, Bernardo Silva. He's correct. Every blade of grass. He wants to get forward. He wants to get back and defend and run the hard yards as well, and he's been really good. Ball to Grealish, who chips it over Azpilicueta. Can he make it stick? No, he can't, but under pressure the ball is put out for a corner kick. Grealish did just enough there. I've not been disappointed by Grealish today, but there's a lot of good players on show. He just happens to be just one of them. We need maybe to see a little bit more from him. And De Bruyne, who takes this corner kick short to the edge of the area, gets it back from Bernardo, puts the ball in too deep, way too deep, and that's flown over everybody. Yeah, he's having a quieter game today, De Bruyne.
Disappointing, wasn't it, that delivery as well? Ball came back to him at a decent pace, I thought, but just strikes through it too firmly and goes beyond everyone. I think it's been a team display, hasn't it, really, from City today, that there's not been one player out there that I would look at and pinpoint as being the key individual. I think Grealish has probably grown into the match. In the second half, he's had a couple of looks at goal. He's attempted to put a few crosses into the box. De Bruyne has linked up nicely at times, but that final ball for him that's normally so reliable has just dropped off a little bit this afternoon. First half, I would have picked out a Chelsea player as probably one of the better perform as a defender, the way that they'd held City at bay. But I think it's just started to swing the other way.
Bernardo takes the ball off Kovacic there. Proper battle in the middle. He finds Rodri, finds De Bruyne, who instantly finds Grealish just at the edge of the area. Real opportunity here. He's got the overlap. Cancelo with left foot, but he can't hook his leg around it enough to get it past Mendy, who's come out really well actually there. City still look the better team, don't they? There was a little rally from Chelsea after the goal, and then obviously a bit more attack-minded with Havertz. But Bobby, what do you think that Chelsea could do? Could they do any more? Would you change anything a little bit more, or is it just down to the 11 who's out there playing better now?
Yeah, I think it is just down to the 11. I look at the bench, and although Chelsea have got options there, I don't see any of them as probably better than what they got on the pitch today. If they did have Mount in the squad, he'd be one that you'd possibly be turning to. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ziyech come on at some point, possibly as a replacement for Werner, just to get some fresh legs out there and see if he can influence proceedings. But I don't think that they can really do too much more in terms of shape. Maybe he could look Thomas Tuchel to take off one of those central defenders and go to a 4 at the back. They've got the players already out there to be capable of doing that. If they take off either Christensen or Rudiger, probably the Dane, I would think, would be the one to depart. That means you can keep Werner on, you can chuck Ziyech up there and go searching for an equaliser. But I think that's where his options are right now.
Yeah, I would agree. At the moment, though, they can't get hold of the ball. Ball goes back to Ederson from City, who playing it that little bit deep. But when you're a goal up away from home, you can play backwards as well as forwards. As the ball is volleyed further up the field. So still possession stats. I mean, Man City 65%. You know what? Chelsea, they're hard to score against. And they've got Lukaku now, so they always grab a goal. Well, they've conceded, and they haven't had a shot on target yet. And we're 75 minutes in. You know, in games like this, as Jorginho is going to go off and Loftus-Cheek comes on, I think that this is where your fans get to know your management style that little bit more. I think too conservative today, and also it's that thing where, having looked at the first half, having been dominated, and they didn't have a shot on target, thinking that's right. You know, they didn't do anything about that. They kept the same formation going to the second half. It tells you something about the pig-headedness maybe of Thomas Tuchel. And the Chelsea fans who will be dead happy with him, with Tuchel, who've, you know, they're not that fickle. Just won a Champions League under Thomas Tuchel, but they won't be thrilled about the performance so far. Anyway, there's still plenty of time left. Ball out to the right. Aspilicueta, chance for a cross, puts the cross in, up go the heads, but eventually it's blocked away by my man today, Bernardo Silva, who then picks the ball up. He's running away, and eventually he's fouled by Alonso, who gets a yellow card.
He's just a little bit desperate then, wasn't he, to try and win possession back. Alonso, and challenging from the wrong side, gets too much of the man, all of the man, and none of the ball. But I mean, just assessing today's game for Chelsea, as you say, far too negative, I think, from the outset. It could serve as a blessing for them as the season goes on. The fact that they got an edge this 1-0 today, Thomas Tuchel might well have stuck with this approach every time they take on one of the title contenders. The loss today, if it does go to a loss, might just serve as a wake-up for him to realise we've got to do a little bit more in these games. We can't just rely on sitting back and defending, and he might go back to the drawing board.
I think he's going to have to do, because, you know, up against the big guys, Christensen got booked there for holding on to De Bruyne for grim life. You know, this is the game that you need to win against your arch rivals. You know, maybe you can draw the one away from home, but I think, you know, those maths that were employed by Mourinho still work out. You know, at least 4 points off the opposition. But as it stands here, you know, they'll get no points for this, and then there'll be a tough game at the Etihad to come. So here come City again, who were putting their title credentials on the table. They may not have a striker, but they've got enough players to get forward and to create. and today it's been a fairly typical performance, hasn't it, from Man City, really. You know, they can play like this against any team who wants to sit back and defend, and it usually ends up the same way for the opposition losing.
Yeah, I mean, they could have been a bit downhearted today after the performance against Southampton last time out. They lacked that flair in the final third. They didn't cause enough problems for the Saints defensively. A lot of people went to that argument that I'm sure we're going to hear rolled out time and time again of City lacking a striker this season, but it might be a chance here from a free kick. It's put behind by Aymeric Laporte. That's a great delivery into the box.
Yeah, cracking delivery into the box there, and yeah, close to number 2. 2 would be the killer, wouldn't it? Let's just see. Yeah, he runs from deep enough there, doesn't he? Initially, Rodri was offside. Again, Chelsea try to clear their lines, but they're inside their own half. He's first run here for Loftus-Cheek. He runs into Cancelo. And it looks like Riyad Mahrez is about to come on. I guess that would be for Jesus, who's been in the walls a little bit today. But you never really know with Guardiola. There's 10 minutes left of the game. No goals so far. Manchester United, Aston Villa. And in the Championship, Reading shading it over Middlesbrough. And Middlesbrough, who were beaten by Blackpool at home last time, so they can't be in any good shape, can they, Bobby?
No, definitely not. Bigger and better sides have fallen.
Yeah, we get my little dig in there. Anyway, Riyad Mahrez is about to come on, and actually it's Kevin De Bruyne who's going off. You never really know with Guardiola, do you? But great player to bring on. Big hug for him. And you know, it won't be lost on him. Like I said, for me, right from the get-go, this is a story, a simple story about revenge for Man City. They may not say as much, but you know what, you think, oh, City won the title and it's this and it's that. But a really good Man City team and a really good manager wants to be the big dogs, don't they? You know, Champions League winners, Premier League winners, they want it all. And if anybody dare take anything off them, particularly domestic rivals, there's hell to pay. There's Mendy now who's put under pressure. Then Christensen down the line. Cancelo comes and helps out. The ball flicked into the box. Thiago Silva with an interesting header, but he finds Azpilicueta. Ball headed back, but it come there, and Loftus-Cheek the wrong side of Foden. But it was a good challenge, and the referee let that one go quite rightly. Timo Werner in his own half has got space to run into. Foden's not going to catch him, nor does he really try. And now a chance cross into the box, real opportunity, and that is hammered away. And the ball might break back for Lukaku. Guess what though, Bernardo Silva is back there again. He's got to be man of the match, doesn't he? He's been immense today in that centre of midfield. I always think, oh, he's more peripheral. He's not the biggest, is he, Bernardo? But he's played like N'Golo Kante did in the Champions League final today. He's been the dominant midfielder.
Yeah, he's put himself about, hasn't he? We saw him arguing with players in the first half, and he's covered so much ground. You've highlighted on several occasions that he's been that man back in his own box, putting the tackle in or clearing away. Not something you would normally associate with him. We see him now just on the edge of his own box, laying it back to goalkeeper Ederson. And he's shown great versatility this afternoon, a role that you definitely don't associate him with. And when you see a player popping up in roles like that and standing out, you have to lavish them with praise for it.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, first season at Man City, I thought, well, what have they bought? You know, I didn't get it at all. Sometimes it takes a while to bed in. Here's Foden now, an opportunity for Grealish through the middle. He flicks the ball. What a save from Mendy. Flung out a left arm, and that really could easily have been 2-0. But for the big Senegalese stopping Grealish there, who probably thought he'd done enough to score.
Yeah, it was a great save from Mendy, last man there to try and prevent City from confirming the win. Cross into the box now from Azpilicueta, Ederson will say, but they were wide open, weren't they, City at the other end. Grealish, I think, will be scratching his head as to how he didn't find a way through.
Mahrez now wrestled to the ground by Rudiger, and that's going to be a yellow card, isn't it? You know, accumulation really. So Rudiger gets the card that he's probably deserved earlier in the piece. and just caught cold there by drop of the shoulder from Morris. They're showing the little finish here, and I like it. He's taking it on quickly. In theory, he could have dragged it right foot onto left foot, but that would have given Mendy a bit more time. I think he's made his mind up early, Grealish, and 9 times out of 10, I'm thinking that's probably good enough for a goal.
Yeah, he's scored plenty like that in the past, and like you, I think he's done everything right there. Grealish has just been stopped by a very good goalkeeper who doesn't give up. He didn't crumble as many do in that situation. They sort of wilt with the attackers coming towards them. He stayed as big as possible. He spread himself and has got right in at the feet of Grealish as well to close him down.
Yeah, the only thing Man City haven't done today is grab that second goal. There'd be good value for it. They've had nearly 4 times as many shots now as the home team, and here's Grealish at the edge of the area again. Runs into Thiago, who read that like a book, and has won his side a goal kick to boot. A victory for Man City here would make it lively at the top of the table. There'd be just 1 point off Man United, who at the moment is still drawing against Aston Villa. Wedged in between them would be Liverpool, and then obviously on the same points would be Chelsea, just slightly below them, 1 goal worse off in terms of goal difference. As well, here come Chelsea now. Timo Werner with a strike, that's blocked away by Laporte. Hands behind his back, they're clever defending. Alonso now robbed by Bernardo Silva just at the edge of his box. Bernardo runs it out, finds an out ball in. Grealish flicks it back to Bernardo Silva. Although this time Kovacic gets across and nicks the ball off him. Some stellar performances, but none better than Bernardo Silva today. He's been superb, deserves to be on the winning team. City haven't put this game to bed yet, though. We've got 5 minutes of regulation time, probably 4 minutes of added time. Can Chelsea get back in, Bobby?
I wouldn't rule them out. They've got Lukaku on the pitch, and he doesn't often need too many sights at goal to find the back of the net. They've definitely looked better in the final third since conceding the goal. That's not to say that they've been pounding Manchester City's box or goal frame with efforts and working Edison heavily, but they've got lots of quality out there, and I think City sometimes can get a little bit swept away with how much they can do in the final third. I think a real good sign on the side of the touchline now is that Fernandinho is set to come on, so that could provide them with a little bit more extra cover, and I think Guardiola also senses with Raheem Sterling set to come on as well that Chelsea are going to be over-committing to try and find the equaliser, so he's sort of hedging his bets both ways here, more defensive cover and fresh legs up at the top.
Yeah, he's well blessed, isn't he? It's a really talented bench that they've got, and Phil Foden goes off. He's played really well today. In the Euros, I thought Foden played pretty well, and then he got injured, didn't he? And Grealish going off as well, who struggling to get into Gareth Southgate's team before the Euros, and now be one of the first names she put down. So yeah, Sterling on, fresh legs for him, and if any man knows how to get them over the line, it would be Fernandinho, who is still a tremendous player. Kovacic brought down, that will be a free kick. So Chelsea 0, Man City 1. It sets up nicely the afternoon, and of course in the other game, weird to have 2 such stellar games competing against each other, but no goals yet at Old Trafford. Manchester United against Aston Villa. Lukaku into the box now, but scrapes his right foot at the ball. That's really for standing. I've seen him score with his right foot, but he prefers his left, and he couldn't quite get there for that. Maybe a chance here as a ball into the box is well over the head of Lukaku, who feels he was being pinned down by Ruben Diaz, and he was, but I just thought that was good defending.
Yeah, it's a nice ball in, isn't it, from Azpilicueta. Good bend on it towards the target, and it's not too dissimilar to the sort of delivery that Lukaku made the most of when Chelsea beat Zenit St. Petersburg 1-0 in the Champions League a couple of weeks back, coming in at the far post and just showing too much strength for the defender on that occasion, but this time around he's not knocked off his path by Ruben Diaz, as you say. There might be a bit of shirt pulling there and knocking Lukaku off his path, but more times than not, you don't really get any favours from the referee as an attacker in that situation.
No, you don't. Playing out from the back now, Chelsea. Just 2 minutes of regulation play. And now Alonso's on the ball inside his own half. He looks for the Hollywood ball. Was that a shot? I don't know. Anyway, it would have been a shot on off target from him if it was. Don't know quite what that was, but desperate. They've made Cancelo man of the match. He's played all right. You know, I'm a bit surprised. Anyway, here now an opportunity. Raheem Sterling trying to run through Christensen, but he remains strong. And the ball now with Loftus-Cheek. I feel possibly that the Chelsea bench at the moment is not quite as strong as Man City's bench. Do you think?
Yeah, and that's not something I think we'll say too often this season. If you line up Chelsea's bench with an opponent, when I've looked at them previously against Aston Villa and against Tottenham, might be a chance for Havertz, but Ederson will come and punch. The flag goes up anyway. Wouldn't have counted. But a couple of weeks ago I did Chelsea against Tottenham, and you looked at the options available to both managers, and it was by far and away Chelsea who had the more to turn to. There's no offside there when that ball was played. I'm not quite sure why that flag had gone up, whether it's for a free kick, just for a foul on Ederson. But even that, I think both are honestly competing for the ball. Ederson comes through, dives and punches, and comes off worse for wear for it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of late contact that doesn't necessarily need to be made, does it? I'm not sure that there's too much wrong with him. And of course it gets an opportunity to wind down the clock just a little bit. But yeah, I guess they want time now to wave by. And we're going to see that board up. 4 minutes of added time. And they may need all four of them to get back in it. But we said that it was a tight first half without a shot on target. We said it was the kind of game that could be 1-0, and City are looking good with time running out.
They are. They look as though they're doing enough to hold on to it, don't they? That Gabriel Jesus goal, taking a look back at again, seemingly going to be the difference between the two sides. It's a really well taken goal, isn't it? The more you look at it, yes, there's luck about the deflection in the end, but he's patient, starts with his back to goal, shape to shoot, drops the shoulder, turns the other way, and manages to squeeze it away beyond the legs of the defender and past Edouard Mendy. Really good work from City, who tried something different from a corner as well. They'd aimlessly swung in corner after corner in the first half and found themselves coming up with the same end product. Absolutely nothing to show. This time they went short, got it to the edge of the box. Cancelo with the initial work, and Gabriel Jesus rounding things off.
Yeah, that's right. Looking at Grealish on the bench, just watching on. But what they've done is remind everybody that they're in the mix for the title. You know, 3 minutes left of the game as Ederson told to put the ball back. He spins it forward. He's just going to hunt the ball long, wasting a little bit of time. And eventually, left-footed, he clears it well over the halfway line. Sterling looks for it. In the end, it's spooned up in the air. Well, there was a foul, not much backing in really from Raheem Sterling, but just enough on Christensen to put him off. There's 2 minutes left to play of the added time now. As now Loftus-Cheek over the halfway line gets the ball forward to Werner, runs down a blind alley, but Bernardo Silva there comes across, steps over the ball, and eventually hammers it down the line. It wasn't a great clearance, but I guess he read play well enough. Now the ball hammered forward. Anywhere will do for City at the minute, but there's only 2 minutes left to play. As Christensen gets on it, Kovacic then is caught by Mahrez, and now Thiago Silva scrapes it out to Rudiger, and the ball goes further left to Alonso, back to Rudiger. Kovacic's on the inside, but the ball goes back over the halfway line to Thiago Silva. 1.5 minutes left of the game now as Loftus-Cheek picks the ball up, and well, if they're looking for targets, they're not really finding them, and the ball breaks their back.
Udah
Kindly now, Fernandinho takes contact on Fernandinho coming together as Fernandinho wins the ball in the middle of the park. Eventually there's a little Marseille turn to drag it back. There's only a minute left. Chelsea 0, Man City 1. And it's going to be a bit of a dent in the title ambitions for Chelsea. Long ball into the box, an opportunity, and in the end, Azpilicueta got a little bit deep underneath that. Cancelo runs the ball out. Werner gets goal side of him, and he thinks he's won a free kick there. Maybe he has. Well, Azpilicueta ever so close to getting on the end of a good-looking ball into the box. Cancelo makes a back for him, doesn't it? But I'm not sure he's ever going to get there. Anyway, they might take another look at that, Bobby.
Yeah, possibly. I think he fully commits to it, doesn't he, Azpilicueta? For me, that there's not really much of a case to be answered to. João Cancelo sort of stays down and under it, and Azpilicueta jumps over the top. He'd landed slightly awkwardly. He's up and sort of hobbling away to get into position. How much of an influence he can be in this final set piece, which is going to take us to the whistle, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we've rolled over 94 minutes now, so there can't be long left. The ball punted long, and then heads go up for it. It's headed into the box, but Derson could have picked it up there, and he makes a bit of a mess. Plays a little bit of football with that, rolls the ball out. Man United have missed a penalty. Aston Villa has scored. Anyway, so both the early games, 1-0 victories. Courtney Hauser has scored for Villa. Don't know who's missed. Fernandes. Here come City into the box again, and the ball not good enough this time from Jesus, who had Raheem Sterling ready for a tap in at the far post. Lukaku on the ball, and he's chopped down there. But the referee will let that go, and he'll show Diaz a yellow card. But they'll take that. The dangerous Lukaku running into space, but now they've got a free kick deep in their own. This will be the last action of the game, and with Man United dropping points as Ederson comes out. That's a perfect scenario for Man City and their fans today. Things couldn't have gone any better, could they? But anyway, what they need now is the referee to blow his whistle. Ederson still on the ball, just to confirm a yellow card for Diaz. And when he boots the ball, the referee should blow his whistle. Michael Oliver not tempted to do that. A little bit of head tennis, and then the ball eventually spooned up in the air by Bernardo Silva. We'll go all the way back to Mendy. We're almost 97 minutes now, 96 minutes should I say, and I don't know where he's quite finding the time from. As the whistle is blown, and that's a real blow landed by Pep Guardiola's side.
Our next football comedy match is getting ever near us.
Allah. Skor 1-0, udah habis bang. Babak kedua.
Oke, makasih Bang buat yang udah nonton. Makasih banyak Bang buat kalian yang udah nonton.